Now, before we get started, let's just take a broad overview and look at how the arpeggio patterns lay over the scales in the 7 positions. Now, one thing you probably picked up on right away, these aren't your normal 3-note per string scale patterns in the sense of the way you're typically used to seeing them. Notice how, for instance, all this looks the same. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then wait a second, when we get to the B string, we've got G, A, B. We're typically used to seeing A, B, C, right, instead of G, A, B, but we've got a G here on the G string and then a G again here on the B string. Now, the reason why I've got the scale patterns laid out this way, I call this the melodic scale patterns, the melodic shapes, because it seems to me that viewing the scale patterns this way helps in seeing the arpeggio shapes, because the arpeggio shapes seem to flow in this manner. So let's take a little closer look. We'll just take a closer look at position 1 here, and we'll just go through it really slow. So with the scale pattern here, we got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then G again here on the B string, A, B, and then C, D, E. So you're used to seeing maybe this right here, but we're going to be looking at the scale pattern this way and the arpeggio overlaid on top of that. So let's go back here to the arpeggios. So as you can see, arpeggio shape 1, the root position, that is the orange and white notes. And then the orange and black are just the notes of the scale that are not in the major 7 arpeggio. So the C major 7 is C, E, G, B, every other note in the C major scale. Okay, so here we have position 2 in scale pattern 2. You might call this the Dorian shape, as it were. Okay, and again, we're using that same type of what I call the melodic pattern, where whatever happens on the low E happens on the high E. Take note of how the arpeggio lays with, over the scale pattern. And then we have arpeggio shape 3 within scale shape 3. All right, and I'm going to grab my guitar here in a second, and we're going to talk about fingerings and go over this, but we're just taking a little broad overview right now. Here we have arpeggio shape 4 over scale pattern 4. And then we've got 5 over scale pattern 5 right here. And then here's arpeggio shape 6 over scale pattern 6 again. Check it out. There's our A minor pentatonic, fitting right nicely tucked inside that scale shape. Okay, and then we've got arpeggio shape 7 over scale pattern 7. All right, I failed to mention that here we have E minor pentatonic sitting right inside this scale pattern 3. Okay. Anyway, so let's grab our guitars, and I'm going to talk about fingerings now.